Hi everyone, it's Sue Ralph here with Birdcage Craft Studio, and I'm bringing my crafting tip from me to you, and this is number 50. I had an idea for a different video, but I thought I needed to come back and have a chat with you today about the ribbons that I coloured yesterday. Overnight they have changed slightly because I thought that I dried them quite well. But when I had a look this morning, I was quite surprised at how much, especially using the inks from the ink pad, had changed. It had sort of spread down. So I think my review of the stamps, the inks that I've used, I'm going to have to change slightly. The first one that caught my eye was the satin ribbon, because I did say I thought that was the best one. But when I had a look this morning, can you see how it started to sort of spread itself further down the ribbon? So I would suggest if you do any sort of colouring on your ribbons, you actually leave it overnight to dry before you add it to your project. The other one that did that was the taffeta ribbon. So you can see it sort of spread down into the image. And I think those were the two worst ones. The other ones weren't too bad. No, I think all the other ribbons that I tried weren't too bad. So just be aware of using the taffeta and the satin ribbon, because they do tend to just spread on down a little bit more. The bow that I did use the stamps on, the one that I used with the stays on, seems to have been quite good. It doesn't seem to have bled or sort of spread out at all. I've done another one here. Look, the Merry Christmas is in stays on, which is fine, but then the ink pad, can you see how it's sort of just bled out slightly? So you just need to watch that. I thought I needed to come back and let you know. Right, my tip today is talking about, well, this one is the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. And there are a couple of things I wanted to show you about this one. I've had a couple of people ask me about how they can do score lines on their trimmer. A couple of people haven't got the little score, I'm not quite sure what you call it, a little score tab here. But what you can do is get your paper in place, and you can either use your bone folder, just very gently get into the channel and just take your bone folder up and down just very carefully, and then just 2 or 3 times, and you can score that. Don't know if the camera will pick it up. Yeah, it's fine. Or you could actually use your scoring tool, which is the one that I do, and you've got the 2 ends to this one. So you've got your thicker point or your slightly thinner point. So I tend to use the thicker ball point, and again just go up and down that channel fairly carefully, and you'll find that that scores your paper no problem at all. So you can actually use that to do all sorts of things, scoring your cardstock, you know, scoring the lines for boxes, making your own sort of embellishments, you know, to make the rosettes. So that's something to remember, that you can actually use your bone folder and your scoring tool with any of the trimmers that you've got with this channel down the middle here. Okay, something else I have been reading on Facebook a few times, and that's to do with the cutting pads, the little cutting tools that you've got here, and how often they blunt off. Sometimes it's not that fault. Sometimes it could be the channel that you have, especially in the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. You can actually take these out. I don't know if I can show you on the camera very well, but you have a little channel in there, and you have the 2 sides. Okay, so you can always turn it over, and the flat side, you don't use that one for when you're using your cutting, your little cutting blades. But as I said, I don't know if the camera will show it, but can you see that I've got bits and pieces stuck in there? Now that can either be glue or glitter, and that can have an impact on how you cut your cardstock, and that can cause it to fray and not cut cleanly. So what I suggest is you take yourself a little toothbrush and go and put this in the kitchen sink, leave it to soak for a few minutes in warm soapy water, and then give it a really good clean with your toothbrush. And then make sure you dry it thoroughly before you put it back into here, because obviously you don't want it to get your cardstock wet. But as I said, you have the 2 sides, and then, you know, you can use one side, and if it's not cutting very well, move it back to the other. There will probably come a time that you will need to replace these. I think you can get them in packs of 2 from Stampin' Up! But try that tip first, just give them a really good clean. And the last tip I just wanted to have a chat with you about today is obviously the cost of postage just seems to be going up and up all the time. Now, I actually found this tip on Pinterest, but I wanted to share it with you because I don't know how many other people know it. But here, the channel in your cutter, your trimmer, I have found that you can put a card through, and this is about the same size that you get in the post office, that they test your cards, you know, how much postage. You can actually put a card through, that I've done there, and it just about goes through with like a pack of pearls. So I suggest that's the deepest, the larger pearl, that's the deepest you can actually do for embellishments on your card. So I thought that was a tip that was really good, especially if you want to keep down the cost of your Christmas cards. So as I said, it goes through, and just as you get to the thicker pearls, it just sort of sticks a little bit, but I think you can get away with that. So that's an idea, just to use that to know that that's the sort of size to put into an envelope, or the depth I should say, to put into an envelope to send out your cards. Well, I hope you found that helpful, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Oh, by the way, did I say this is my 50th video? I didn't think I'd get to 50 already, but hey, I'm glad that you're all having fun, because I certainly am. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.